Hello, everyone. We tune in today for Leonard, the Vinci at Leonard, the Vinci's innovation and foresight platform for Vinci. Among our activities, we have two startups programs, Seed, to help new startups structure their business plan, and Catalyst. This program was launched in January and is designed to foster and accelerate partnerships between Vinci and the startups and scale-ups in their commercial development phase. And today is the third of our 11 daily online presentation of startups from our Catalyst program and their exchanges with operational business units from Vinci. I would like to begin by thanking our panelists today. You will hear Holobuilder's CEO, Christian Claus, Amaya B, Project Director at Vinci Construction France, and Mathieu Artaud, who is a Corporate Venture Manager at Vinci Energy. We'll first hear the presentation of Holobuilder and its value proposition for 10 to 15 minutes. Then Amma and Mathieu will explain their respective roles at Vinci. And after that, I do have some questions on the potential collaboration between Holobuilder and Vinci. And you can also ask your questions in the chat on the right of your screen. I will be your voice at the end of the exchange. And during the presentation, you can click on the slides to see them in a bigger window. Christian, you can share your screen.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Can you see it?
Yes, perfect.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining and taking the time out of your day to listen to this webinar and also to learn more about Holobuilder and the collaboration that we've done with Leonard at Vinci. We've been very fortunate and excited to be part of this program and happy to share more about it. Before we get into the Q&A, let me share a little bit about Holobuilder and what Holobuilder does and how general contractors such as Vinci are using Holobuilder today. Quick background, I'm Christian. I'm the CMO and head of partnerships here at Holobuilder. I've been with Holobuilder for the past 5 years, 3 years of which I've been in product management. And the last year or so, I've been in marketing and partnerships. And that collaboration with Vinci is part of our partnership initiative, which we are very excited about. Little background, I'm currently in San Francisco, but originally also out of Germany, and so is the company. We have a German office in Aachen, Germany, and the San Francisco office. It's a kind of best of both world approach, we call it. Our investors include Brick and Mortar Ventures, Fundamental, Tandem Eon, NRW Bank, and a few more that we are venture-backed startup here out of San Francisco. Today, about 18,000 projects, a little more than that at this point, are using Holobuilder from about 2,000 companies. That is general contractors, owners, and also the trades that are leveraging Holobuilder around the world, in North America, in Europe, but also in Asia and in Latin America. And the big problem that we are solving at Holobuilder is unstructured data. Photos are generally unstructured when people walk around with their phones, taking a bunch of pictures and then uploading these pictures into long folder structures where then the pictures reside and many people don't look at them again. We basically, a few years ago, these 360-degree cameras came out, little handheld devices that have 2 lenses, and with one click of a button, you basically take a type of Google Street View image that you're used to from Google Street View. And we thought, great, why don't we build a system that allows general contractors, owners, and anyone involved in the AEC building space to quickly document progress over time and organize this data on a floor plan. You see this in the background here a little bit. You have a floor plan. The images photos are organized on that floor plan, and there are 2 different moments in time how this location progressed. To then make it a shareable online experience that is easy to follow, secure, and also archivable for the next years for you to have that documentation down the road. And it's a very visual product, so let me quickly walk you through how the flow works. It usually starts with a person in the field, a field engineer during the summer, sometimes a summer intern, with a 360 camera and our job walk application. That is an Android and iOS application. Field engineer walks around, captures the location really quick, and then uploads it. And this is how it looks once it's uploaded. You have an all-around image. You can walk from one location to the other, but also everything, and more importantly, is organized on the floor plan where you can navigate. And this is just one moment in time. You can split the screen and have one side go back in time. In an OAC meeting, for instance, you can put it on the wall and discuss how progress happened. If you're using Navisworks or Revit, you can also compare reality with the model. Very powerful for design coordination. If you see anything, you can mark it up, have it live within some of our partner platforms, such as Autodesk BIM 360 or Procore, and manage kind of either punch list in the field or markups, and then have a whole long list of markups that you can also download. That's an overview of some of the integrations that we have. PlanGrid is one of them, but also Box, Dropbox, and so forth. We can measure within the data as well to get some good dimensioning out of it. And also you can download this data in different shapes and forms. So in this case, you'll see a PDF report, we call it, which allows you to get a 2D format out of these 360-degree images. If you're an enterprise admin, it's built for the enterprise, you have a good analytics overview, and also, and that goes for everyone, you can download the project at the end of the job and then have it offline and ready to hand over for facility management, and then keeping that data down the road. So that's a really high level, quick introduction of the scope of Holobuilder. So it starts with either a person capturing in the field, which is already increasing the speed of capture by 80+%, instead of having someone in the field capture the traditional way, we call it. In replacing this with a 360 camera just really speeds things up. But also we have integrations into Boston Dynamics Spot, and also you can use drones to take 360s and then upload them to Holobuilder, which then allows you to document and have a structured approach to the documentation. And that documentation then ends in a collaborative environment that is shareable and secure for the enterprise. Once you then have that documentation, you can go ahead and export this documentation in all shapes and forms, PDFs, the offline view as mentioned, and also we have integrations into many of the best-in-class solutions that are out there in the market that allow you to manage your punch list, or also manage and compare progress to BIM to have a good plan versus actual comparison. So it's a very powerful platform that is not standing by itself, but also integrated into the ecosystem. Here's just a very rough schedule of how our customers are using Holobuilder. When you think about how a project kind of progresses, they're planning out the capture plans with something we call Job Walk Planner, where you can decide when to capture, and you would do captures for different purposes: bidding, pre-pour, payment verification, milestone captures, inspection verification, all of these different points in time when this documentation is needed is where Holobuilder comes in handy. And then also for the handover, just having as-built documentation, knowing what's behind the wall, knowing what's above the ceiling, pre-pour documentation, and so forth. As mentioned, it's an enterprise-grade platform, something also we greatly discussed when speaking with Vinci and your team over there, and which is very important when you have a large organization, that the platform is flexible and can mold around different regions, different company structures with different roles that provide access on a need-to-know basis, rather than everyone has access to all the data. Which is SSO enabled, it's GDPR compliant with a 7-tier user management structure. So this is a very foundational thought and technology that we build out from the ground up, and everything that we do is focused on large enterprise privacy and security to begin with. It's kind of, the video is really quick, I realize, so let's quickly jump into the product to show you what it looks like. This is now I'm in the product. It's a web-based product. You can look up and down and all around. You can browse around. You see the gentleman capturing the image there. You can measure within it. And then here's the floor plan. This can be one floor plan or multiple. When you select the location on the floor plan, you jump to this specific location. So here you can look around in the image as well. And then this is one moment in time, as mentioned, and you see it's 1 year and 2 months ago. You can then also go to the, let's say, the latest image to see how that looked. And you can then see, oh, let's actually compare the 2 time slots when you're, let's say, in a meeting, just like we are here over video conferencing Zoom. You can then compare different moments in time if you'd like. You can then compare the 2 things side by side and see what the progress was from one moment in time to the other. So very, very powerful. I already mentioned the markups, so the ability to mark up different areas where you then have a powerful list that you can also download as a CSV file. So just really quick to give you an understanding of what the platform itself looks like. But I know time is short, so let's talk quickly about the values and benefits that general contractors such as Vinci, but also owners and the trades are getting out of it. Winning work is an important element. I think we'll talk about this in a little bit. Safety, another one. Not having the team know that the site is ongoingly documented is just improving behavior in general. And also, especially right now, having less workers in the field that don't, or less people in the field that don't necessarily need to put work in place, makes sure that the workers that are in the field have the space they need in order to socially distance, making it safer, having control over schedule, cost, and quality. All very, very important elements that are meaningful throughout the construction process, the planning process, design process, and then also operations and maintenance. 2 quick examples of how Holobuilder is being used. Here's an example of the Harvey Milk International Terminal 1 that has been using Holobuilder from the very start. It's a project by Hansel Phelps, who was kind enough to be able to share it here in the US. Many of you probably flew into that airport here in San Francisco. It's a $1.2 billion project. They have, from the very beginning of the job, had a very structured process to it. They said, we have such a long job. We want to make sure we have the photo documentation right. They had 16 field engineers responsible for the respective areas. And they divided the capture responsibility for those areas to the different field engineers. They had a bunch of 360 cameras, which are fairly affordable. So you can just give them to many, unlike, let's say, laser scanners that are, you want to have 1 on the job. You don't necessarily want to have 16 on the job. 360 cameras, you can do that more. And then they decided on a specific day in the week that they want to go out there and capture. I think it was like every Wednesday. And then once the captures happen, they uploaded it all to the cloud, and the project manager and the team on the field, but also that were remote, are able to see what the progress was. And it saves them about 5,000 hours a year for a multi-year project. It's quite a lot of hours that accumulate there. Another good one is keeping the knowledge of how something was built in the company and not having that knowledge being lost. Jeremy Humphreys, he's a senior project manager at Barton Mello, another general contractor and a very innovative contractor here in the United States, shared this example with us, which is very powerful to educate the next generation of builders on how something was built within the company. I always like bringing that up because that information is so powerful to have for many conversations and to explain to someone how is the specific way a specific company builds things, and then not losing that knowledge and then mitigating risk and reducing the risk of having that information gone. Very, very powerful. And then over again to you all, thank you very much. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like by scanning this QR code. And I'm sure we'll have more time in the Q&A to chat about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. I think I did upgrade your position again. I'm used to that, so sorry about that. Anna, can you please describe your role at Vinci before the start of the conversation?
Yeah, sure. I'm working in Vinci Construction France, especially on the residential market. And I'm an innovation project manager. So my role is to find, test, and spread innovation and best practices.
We'll get back on that. And Mathieu, is the same question?
Yeah, before I start, thanks a lot, Louis, for having me there. So I work for the innovation department of VINCI Energy. VINCI Energy is part of VINCI contracting branch and represent like 14 billion of revenues last year. We have 1,800 business units implemented across 56 countries, and we provide solutions on various verticals: energy, city, industry, IT, and many more, in order to support major trends for our client, the digital transformation and the energy transition. As an integrator, our goal at VINCI Energy is to help customers to get the best solution based on the right technology, depending on their needs. And along with our brand teams, one of our mission at the innovation department is to help our business unit to match these needs and to find solutions such as Holobuilder. And in that respect, my mission at VINCI Energy is being in charge of our corporate venture activity, which encompasses our seed fund Innobiz created 4 years ago, and that carry out 3 actions, sourcing 10 companies relevant for our offers. When we find really good tech companies, we can use the Innobiz fund to invest in them because they will have strong impact on our future offers. And of course, after that, the most important, we support our entrepreneurs in the portfolio during that development, just as a regular venture capitalist would.
Thank you, Mathieu. Back to you, Anna. You oversee a project where you could use the Holobuilder technology. Can you tell us a bit more about this project, of course, without breaching any confidentiality rules? And maybe what advantage do you see in potentially using Holobuilder?
Wants to start?
Yeah, Mark, please.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can explain you a little bit about this operation. We identify a modest operation of 23 apartments near Paris. So it's not a huge operation. It's not a big tower or something like this, but it's more a common operation for VINCI Construction France as a general contractor. So it is important for us to test it on this kind of project. So it's going to be the first test with the Holobuilder. And we choose this operation because, first of all, it's a common operation, so it's going to be easier to spread it. And then the second point is that this project is quite strategic for us because we are going to test a new way of building with a new process and new people and new workers on it. So we are going to have a lot of innovation on it, and it is important to know exactly what is going on inside the project. So this is one of the reasons why we start to see the potential partnership with Holobuilder.
Thank you. Christian, I think that Holobuilder can be used in managing and maybe bettering the relation with clients and prospects. How do you see this tool be used, like for concepts such as transparency?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about building trust between the different stakeholders of a project, right? And improving the communication between the stakeholders. Holobuilder is a new type of communication vehicle that helps the contractor to keep the owner or any other stakeholders within the organization up to date on what's going on, as well as its own team members up to date of what progress has happened, and build a bridge between the home or the office and even the trailer and the site, so that basically the site is always in your back pocket if you want. And that really allows for there to be increased transparency. You can use this data for your weekly OAC meetings, as we call it here, owner, architect, contractor meetings, putting it on a wall, sharing it over a video call, Zoom call like we do it, by sharing the screen and then walking through the site together really removes that what does the site actually look like aspect, where there's much confusion oftentimes, and making it very easy to understand, okay, here's what happened, and here's how we have to fix it, or here is what it looks like this week, and here's what it looked like that week. There was tremendous progress happening. And that really improves the communication, speeds up the communication, and resolves a lot of issues and frictions that traditionally have been in the process. And that's really, really powerful to build the trust. And also the clients can then go and take that data and use it for their purposes to talk with their investors, and say, look, the progress is coming along nicely. We can release that second tranche of money maybe, or if you invest now in this new project here, you see this project is going well, it's well underway. So they can use it for their own purposes as they see fit. Again, building trust with their stakeholders. Very powerful communication tool.
I know that these arguments have landed somewhere at Vinci Energy. Mathieu, you and your colleagues have been exchanging with Holobuilder for a few months now. Can you tell us about the potential use cases that you see and maybe technical challenges?
Yeah, sure. Well, first use case has been identified by our brand Omexom, and it concerns the activities of installation and renovation in the nuclear industry. Holobuilder technology could allow us to improve our workflow process and bring nice return on investment by reducing time of preparation, intervention, and the following of operation. But also there is a marketing aspect with the ability to share progress with clients. One thing that particularly caught our attention is how simple the tool is, and the numerous nice features it includes, like being able to make some measures. These are signs that there is a great product team behind in the team and behind Holobuilder. But there was a strong technical challenge. We are talking about a use case in the nuclear industry, and due to the sensitiveness of the topic, we must cope with many challenges regarding IT compliance and cybersecurity. And to be honest, as much as I love SaaS as a business model or even philosophy, in that precise use case, that can be so simple, which implies for Holobuilder to be able to either deploy on-premise or on a private cloud in this specific case. And I think that represents the main technical challenge that needs to be overcome.
Christian, do you want to get back on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And data privacy is always #1 concern. Also having roots in Europe, we strongly understand GDPR, and we understand data privacy and where the data is hosted. So we have service in Europe, we have service in the United States for that reason, so that projects that were from here in North America, the data would be here. For projects that are within the EU, the data would remain there. And we also have in the past had projects run on on-premise solutions if that was necessary. But that's something, of course, it's not out of the box and it's not standard, but technically that's possible. We have different servers that are set up around the world. So setting up another one is, of course, an additional technical step that is not out of the box. But we do understand that these concerns come up, especially when we talk about national interest projects. And we have quite a few of those running on Holobuilder from some of the largest organizations on this planet. And we do take that responsibility really serious. And we want to make sure we do everything to accommodate even the steepest and the most secure project privacy and data security needs, for sure.
Mathieu, you had other use cases that you wanted to share?
Sorry?
Did you have other use cases that you wanted to share?
To be honest, that Let's say that the role and mission of the innovation department is to act as a catalyst, accelerator, facilitator to encourage innovation in our various network of VINCI Energy. And when it comes to our approach regarding startup, this means that when an innovation is relevant, we take a key role on spreading the word and getting and connecting the startups with the relevant people to try to bring our business units more value through innovation. And for instance, in Holobuilder case, considering the diversity of our activities, I'm convinced that there will be many more use cases that we could find in verticals such as building maintenance or project or even project for the manufacturing industry. And just to answer your question, when the tech can prove and deliver some value for operation and customer, we will help it scale through our network.
I have other questions, but we have a lot of questions from the public. Maybe I'll ask a few to question. I have one from Yogesh Patel. All your examples are inside buildings. Can Holobuilder work in external environments such as highways or greenfield sites? And second, also, does it require live 3G or 4G connectivity, or can it work offline and then sync up when the signal is there?
Both are great questions. And yeah, we use the indoor examples, also given a mass project and that is fairly similar. We do operate on outside projects, just like on inside projects. So what the 360 camera can capture outdoors. In fact, the images when there's good lighting outside look great. And there's also the component of if you use the Google Maps sheet floor plan export as an integration that we have with Google Maps, you can use GPS to track yourself if you capture roads and so forth. So linear projects and infrastructure projects are on Holobuilder, and there's quite a big use case of that. Another great way of working with these is our ability to take drone images and photos that are 360 and then importing them into Holobuilder through the web platform that I've shown you. That's another great way if you have a big project to capture that is maybe kilometers long, in order to get the data in there and work with it. So yes to that. And do you need to have, the second question was, do you need to have data connectivity in the field? And the answer is no. We built this from the very beginning. We said most projects out there, it's the real world, right? There's no great connectivity. Sometimes it's underground. Sometimes it's when there's lots of, let's say, concrete already around. There's no connectivity. So we built out the process in a way that there's zero connectivity needed at the time of capture. So you can go out there, capture the job, whether that's indoors or outdoors. And then once you're done, drive back to the trailer, the office, wherever there's Wi-Fi or cellular data, and then upload the information to the cloud. So it's you can document underground mines with it if you like.
I also have a general question on the business model. Is there a subscription or a unique cost?
Very good. It's an annual subscription for the project.
Okay. I will go back to the other questions.
And in order to learn more about that, feel free to just go to holobuilder.com and learn more about it. There's a button to get in touch with our team. You can learn all about the subscription and how it works there.
I have a questions on the 360 capture. So Holobuilder's roots are German. How accepted is the 360 capture technology in Germany from your experience? And how could your service be used and promoted by a consultant in Germany?
Great question. Yeah, we work with some of the large general contractors out of Germany. And it's when we compare North America with Europe in general, I would say North America has had a head start when it comes to the adoption of 360 technologies within construction. And here, also when you read the reports, now 360 cameras are the second most used and purchased capture device on construction in the United States, so very well aware of the industry of 360 capture. It's a big thing here. In Europe, we start seeing this now, and in Germany specifically, given that we have the roots there, we work with some of the larger general contractors who are using actively Holobuilder in Germany, and it's well accepted and it works just the same over there. The nice thing about images is that there's no language you need to translate an image. So it works really well. Also, when you speak German or when you speak French or whichever language you speak, you can use Holobuilder. It's very visual. That being said, as a consultant, we actually work with quite a few consultants that then bring Holobuilder to the organization, either yourself going into the field capturing for the client, or educating the client on how to use Holobuilder and being something like an implementation specialist for the client to get up and running with Holobuilder. The nice thing is it is a very easy way of getting started, a very quick way of getting started, that you can teach to a company and have a low-hanging fruit win if you want. So it's a great way of getting in the door and making sure that technology can be adopted. It doesn't need any prerequisites of other technologies in order to work. While we can work with things like BIM models and so forth, you don't have to have a BIM model in place for the project in order to use Holobuilder, which is very important, and which is what has helped us to scale to so many projects that we are on today, because it is easy to get started and easy to pick up, as Mathieu also pointed out.
How long would you think it would take, for example, for Amar's project, if he decided, okay, let's go? How long would it take him to be a good user?
Within just capturing, we can get Amar started within 10 to 15 minutes to be able to capture the site. If he then wanted to learn how to use some of the advanced features such as markups, that maybe adds another 20 minutes or so. But within under an hour, he's an expert on the entire platform.
Yeah, this point is really interesting, because it is also why I think it's a solution that can be implemented quite easily and quite fast. The project that I talked to is beginning in 2 weeks. It's people out there, there are workers who are not especially used to take pictures on the field, and that was a good point to convince them.
Thank you, Anna. I have a few other questions, maybe a bit more technical. I have one from Christian. Would you say that OpenSpace and Mattersport are competitors? And if so, how do you distinguish?
Great question. So there is this notion of creating a entire map that is kind of heavier in data versus having capture locations in each moment in time that are specific and meaningful. So that's where we really differentiate. We focus on a capture workflow that is specific for the locations that are intended to capture versus capturing just anything and having a whole lot of data that you might not want to have on your hands for the entire time, but instead going to one room specifically, documenting there in that specific room, going to another room, capturing in that room, versus having everything captured in between, just to keep the data lightweight, keep the data structured, and keep the data clean so that it's future-proof.
We see that it's a good product and it's easy to use. So I had a question from someone in the audience. What are your biggest challenges in convincing new clients today?
The fortunate situation is that it's not very difficult to convince someone that this is the way to go. The challenge really, and I think that goes for many construction technologies, is scaling throughout an organization. The nature of our industry is that many of the projects are almost independent companies. So it's not that you would say, great, this one project really benefited and we created a very powerful case study around this project. So it's a no-brainer that all of the other projects will work too. So therefore, how would we then be able to scale it? But that's a problem. I think there has been tremendous progress happening towards that. We have learned how to scale better throughout the organization, as let's say with the project teams and technology teams, VDC teams, BIM teams. But there's still a lot of work that we have to do as an industry, how to successfully scale technology from one project to many projects. That goes for capture technology, but I think all the other technologies just the same.
I have a question from someone you know at Vinci Energy, Arno Banner. He's asking, will you develop the possibility to pass a bunch of waypoints on a wide area Google map? Today, it's also possible to do it on a small Google Maps sheet with no possibility to navigate across the total project on one single map.
The integration to Google Maps, and I think for everyone who doesn't know what it looks like, you basically go to Google Maps. Within Holobuilder, it's built into our application. You crop out a specific area, and then that allows you to document on top of that. And then extending that area, if that is a use case and a need. I'm not in product, so I don't want to throw anything out there, which I would get then hit on the head from my product team afterwards. But yeah, I mean, certainly that is technically possible, no problem.
The other question is from Caroline. Is Holobuilder looking to venture in Africa?
In fact, I had a conversation with a company in South Africa last week. Just funny coincidence that you bring it up. We have been working with companies in Africa for a few years now. That is some companies that are international that also work in Africa, but also companies out of Africa themselves. We do have customers out of Africa.
Right. I will keep going because I have a lot of questions from the audience, which is really nice. From Yogesh Patel, in your experience, is there a minimum scale, size, value of project for Holobuilder to be viable and value for money?
One of the nice things about the technology is that you don't have a large setup cost. You don't, as mentioned, have to have any prerequisites in order to make it work. We in fact have some customers that document only a few images for, let's say, a corner of a street because they're building something on this corner of a street, even maybe taking a picture of one specific manhole in order to document and have this as a closeout package. So no project is really too small, and the nice thing is that no project is also too large. We do tend to, well, I would say there's no specific point where we say this is the type of project that Holobuilder is, let's say, most often used on. I mean, as even in this conversation, right, Holobuilder is being used on a very large within nuclear possibility, and then also within residential and also within infrastructure, which could be as much as a little documentation of one specific location on a corner of a street. So it works for large projects and it works for small projects. And the reason for that is the low setup cost that enables that.
Right. You know, Ludivine Serrier and the rest of us at the startup team at Leonard did a selection of startups to tackle the issues posed by COVID-19, especially regarding the reduction of the presence on the work site. Can you explain how Holobuilder can reduce the number of people on the work site? Absolutely.
So construction is very physical, and you will have to have the ability to put work in place, right? Nothing is going to replace that. However, there are some people that go into the field in order to see what the progress is in the field. And that's an element that we can take out by having virtual sidewalks instead of physical sidewalks. And that is an ability that we can then enable a reduction of people that are in the field, and then allow for more space between people in the field of the people that actually need to put work in place.
All right. Amar, maybe if people have questions on your projects, maybe you can put your email in the chat, on the event chat.
Yeah, sure.
The same works for you, Mathieu, if someone has questions about InnoBiz or your job. And Christian also, if people want to get in touch with you with Holobuilder. You can also, everyone, go to the exhibition section in Open, where you have videos from every startups from the Catalyst program. And you can also, of course, write to me. I will put my email. I will wait a few seconds to see if there is other questions from the audience. While we wait, I know that Guillaume, Bazouin here at Leonard, and me, of course, are eager to see the spot in France. Christian, can you tell us when we'll be able to see it working on a Vinci worksite?
That really comes down to you all. Of course, we don't produce Spot itself. We are a software company, and we integrate with the best-in-class solutions out there. That goes for 360-degree cameras, but it also goes for robotics. And we have been partnering with Boston Dynamics now for about a year and a half, 2 years now. This is an amazing team, and it really comes down to procuring the Spot from them. We don't sell the hardware. We have an app that's running on top of the hardware. Think about it as an iPhone and an app. There's the iPhone, which is Spot, and then the moment you have that from Boston Dynamics, then you can get the Holobuilder Spot Walk app, as we call it.
Perfect. Mathieu and Amar, do you have any last remarks?
If I can start, as I mentioned earlier, we are considering a first use case, and I know that Holobuilder is in direct discussions with our Omexon brand teams. You were talking earlier about how difficult it is for a company to scale through a corporate. It's true, but let's say that the first deployment is always the most important. Like when a startup is doing its go-to-market, she needs the first references, and it's a bit like the same with us. Before signing any partnership, we need to define a deployment stage, adjustment, and how to execute in the end. So for now, let's wait and see where it leads with Omexon. But as to me, I'll be eager to promote the Holobuilder in Vinci Energy Network if a first deployment is a success and we can help to scale the solution in the group.
Let's hope Amar has the first deployment.
Yeah, for me, I just wanted to build on what Christian said about the question of Yogesh Patel, about his experience on the minimum scale of project. For me, it's of course a small project, but a few weeks ago when I spoke with the workers, the operation field, it came up that they said that there is 2 points that I really like with the Holobuilder solution, which is transparency. Thanks to that, they will be able to share easily 360 pictures, and this is really interesting for them because it will, useless traveling will be not helpful anymore, especially in this time period. And the second point, which was quite interesting, they say that the traceability, the possibility to know in this platform that you have all the data collected, and you will not be looking for an iPhone of this guy who has the right picture. It's on the same platform, and you will be able to analyze this data for the further project. That was even for a small project. It works. So this is just what I wanted to say.
Thank you. I think we have no more questions from the audience. So thank you again all for joining, especially the panelists, but also the audience. The next panel will take place tomorrow and will feature AOS, a software that simplifies the request, monitoring, and analysis of call for tenders. And let me say, have a good day or have a good night.
Thanks a
Goodbye.
lot.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.